Thank you for tuning in as we continue our video features for Insurance Careers Month. Today, we will be sitting down with the Business Development Rep for Bloss and Dillard, Zachary Smith. Bloss and Dillard is another one of the many companies that we deal with on a daily basis, and they do a phenomenal job. You are in for a real treat, not only learning more about the company as a whole, but also Zachary's career path in the insurance industry. Hi, Zach. Do you prefer Zach or Zachary?
Either's fine. I think most people call me Zach, but I think officially, I sign everything as Zachary. So whichever way.
I think I automatically shorten people's names. It's not intentional. We'll kick off the interview just by letting you tell us a little bit about Bloss and Dillard and about what you do for them.
Yeah, sure thing. So Bloss and Dillard, we are a MGA surplus lines wholesaler located in our main office is located in Huntington, West Virginia. We also have an office shortly outside of Richmond, Virginia, in Mechanicsville. And what we really do is we help agents just place their business that might not fit with their standard lines companies. So, typically when you think of, you go to a Nationwide agent or, an Erie agent or, the agents you'll see driving down the road, you might go to them for a new business venture you're, going to start up, and maybe where it's a new business venture or maybe where it's something a little bit unique, that standard line company might not have a market for it. So that's where we come in. We have various other markets that can handle more oddball risks, higher risks. And then at the same time, we have admitted companies. We have companies that can compete with your standard markets, depending on the situation. So.
Wonderful. And now what do you do for Bloss and Dillard?
So my official title is business development representative. I usually just kind of shorten it to marketing representative when I talk to people. But I really deal with reaching out to agents, checking in with them, and sharing new updates with them. The majority of that is before COVID, I would actually go out and visit agents in person. That's something I'm definitely missing right now. I'm feeling a little stir crazy. But currently it's a lot of phone calls, Zoom meetings, webinars, things like that. I also help run our social media presence. So I'm pretty big on LinkedIn. I've been trying to post a lot there. I've really grown our presence on LinkedIn in terms of the people that follow our page and how many interactions we get. And we found that's like a great tool to just, get information on new markets that we have out there, reminders on existing markets, promotions we're running, things like that. So.
That's good. And you talk about LinkedIn. A lot of people are saying that's going to be the next biggest place to put your business. Do you feel like it's growing quickly and that's the best place to be?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it seems, especially for insurance, at this point, I think I've got over 500 connections on my personal page, and I'd say about 80% of those are in the insurance field. And I've seen, especially since, lockdowns started happening in March and more people working from home, I've really seen more people in insurance utilizing LinkedIn. And I think it's a great thing. Like if you're an agent, it's a great way that maybe you can make contacts with businesses or other professionals to either get their personal lines or their commercial lines business. And then if you're, in a role like me on the business to business side of insurance, it's a great way to connect with different people. I've seen people post on there like, hey, I'm looking for a market for this. I don't know much about it. And, that's something where, hey, maybe I can go into the comments and let them know, oh yeah, we've got a great market for that. Get in contact with me. So I think it's where it's just more business focused than Facebook. I think that's the big selling point for it. When you go on there, you're not going to see, you see like the funny memes and things like that, but you're not going to see the same kind of posts you'd see on Facebook or Instagram. So I still think those are great. We run a Facebook page too. And we run an Instagram as well, although I don't think we update it that much, but I feel like probably we get the most interaction on LinkedIn in the past year. So.
That's great information. Now, did you always want to be in the insurance industry, or what did you want to be when you grew up if you didn't want to be in insurance?
Yeah, so no, actually, I never really considered insurance as a job opportunity or a field I wanted to go into. I actually applied for this job on a whim. It was a kind of vague. I think I found it on Indeed, that website, and it's kind of a vague job posting. And so, went ahead and applied and talked to our vice president here, Colin Wills. He called and did a short phone interview with me, and he was just a great person to do an interview with. I think that's a real skill, being able to conduct an interview. That was what really got me interested in, really moving forward with trying to get a job here. And I haven't regretted it at all. It's been a great place to work. It's been a great field. There's something new to learn every day, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in this field. But in terms of, did I see myself in it before? No, I hadn't really considered it. And in terms of what I wanted to be when I grew up, a lot of different things. I'm pretty good with tech, so I thought maybe that might be somewhere I end up. And also, I have a little bit of a creative side, so thought maybe something in media might end up there. But not disappointed that I'm here. So.
No, I think a lot of that ties into the industry these days. So you're probably
Oh, yeah.
in the perfect place.
Yeah, of course.
Now, what skills do you think would be most important for someone considering a career in the industry, especially in the marketing department?
Definitely people skills. I think, and that kind of ties in with having sales skills. But a lot of sales skills you can learn. I actually, before I worked here, all through college and for a few years after college, I was in retail and retail management. So I definitely had to work with people on a daily basis, just dealing with customers, dealing with coworkers and employees that were, where I was their supervisor. So I think that's, having that going into insurance is a huge thing. Just being able to talk to people, get to the root of what they need. Sometimes it's not always a problem. Sometimes you just have to help them figure out what they're looking for and what's going to best suit them. So I think that's the really the most important part, whether you're in marketing or underwriting, or if you're an agent, really just having those people skills, because you're going to be talking to people all day long, whether you're talking to your customers, if you're an agent, or talking to your underwriter trying to place a piece of business. It's just, really important.
That's good. And what do you think the biggest misconception about the insurance industry is?
That's a good question. I always kind of thought of insurance agents as I kind of lumped them in my mind with like maybe the used car salesman, the kind of stereotype you get with that. But it's really a lot different. I don't think insurance agents kind of go about sales like that. I think, it's something that everybody needs in some form or fashion. And before I had this job, I got car insurance online, but after getting this job, it kind of opened my eyes to, maybe I actually want to have an agent to walk me through these things. So I know a little bit about personal lines from working in the marketing role. Typically I deal with more commercial lines accounts. So having I bought a house this year, and actually being able to sit down with an agent and talk about all those homeowners coverages was really helpful. And I don't think I would have gotten that kind of experience just purchasing it online. So I really feel like, before I thought of insurance agents as maybe outdated, or maybe, the kind of salespeople that come on too hard. But really, since being in there, since meeting hundreds of insurance agents, it's really a valuable service. It's, they need to be there to help walk their customers through it. And I especially encourage people my age, late 20s, early 30s, if you're just getting to that point where you're buying a new car, buying a house. I know it's easy to go online, but look at talking to your local agent. They might be able to save you some money, and they're definitely going to, help you get the coverage you really need.
That's good. We always like when you plug the local agent.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. I know you're younger, but I know our industry is evolving very quickly. So what are the biggest changes you've seen so far since you started your career?
I'd say a lot of things you'll see, more online options for the agents. So, we offer some online raters for our agents to be able to get quotes more quickly. It's harder for us to do that with most of our classes, though, because where we work with like commercial auto or classes that maybe are a little bit harder to place, those are the ones that really need an underwriter to, look them over, talk them through, need to get a ton of information to make sure we're writing the risk right. But, for your smaller commercial businesses, for a lot of personal line services, I see, and I just also hear more agents that are able to, instead of filling out an application, they're able to go on their computer, put in the information and generate a quote right there, then and there. So I think that's a big change. And I know, if it for some people that might not be as well versed with computers or might have a little bit of trouble keeping up with the latest tech, I know sometimes that can be a challenge. So I think that's one way the industry is definitely evolving.
And what would you like to see change in the future? What's the biggest thing that you think would benefit the industry?
That's a good question. It's hard to answer. I've been in this role for actually just at my third anniversary, so I don't know if I have enough experience yet to really kind of make those kind of suggestions. But I think just generally, I want to see local agents continue to remain autonomous and thrive. And I hope that the general public and the customers continue to look at them as a viable option. So I guess in one way to do that, we might want to see local agents or even, smaller agency clusters that have 4 or 5 different locations in a certain region, just really see them work on their ways they can communicate with their customer base, how they can advertise, how they can reach out to different local activities to get their name out there, to really encourage people to shop local, shop with that agent, get that real, face-to-face or over the phone, over email customer service that you wouldn't get if you were just filling out a form online.
Because you're a little newer, I'm going to throw this at you. This isn't a question I normally ask, but I know you learn a lot when you're first starting out in the industry. But what is the most unusual risk you've had to help place since you started your career?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. We have gotten quite a few unusual ones. I actually last year had an agent that it was shortly before the pandemic, and they wanted to insure a piece of art on like an inland marine coverage. Their client was, I think, hosting an art show, if I remember correctly, and they were being loaned this piece of art from a pretty famous New Yorker, a former presidential candidate. That's all they would tell me. So you might be able to fill in the dots there. And they needed just some really high coverage limits on that so that, while it was in their care being displayed for this art show, it was protected. And I think, unfortunately, it wasn't one we were able to place because of they didn't have the proper security measures at the art venue that our company was looking for. But that was definitely an interesting one. And that was one I was hoping we'd be able to write so I could tell people about it. But
I can understand. That's one of the most interesting ones I've heard too. And you always want those so bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to say, just because, to tell you the most interesting one I've had recently, and I never heard of this, it was a historical pig pen that they were trying to place property coverage. I did not know those existed, but we were able to place it. So
that is pretty interesting. I never heard of that before either. Yeah.
No. Again, I won't take up a lot of your time. I know you're busy. So just to finish, is there anything you'd like to share about Bloss and Dillard or with someone that's considering a career in insurance?
If you're considering a career in insurance, I highly encourage you to, really consider it, take a look at all the different options. And it's not just working in an agency, there's roles on for brokers like us. There's roles in the insurance companies themselves, which you might think that they're like kind of centrally located in places like New York or Philadelphia, and a lot of them are, but they're actually, we work with countries that have offices located all over the country. So there's cool and interesting jobs there. They're well-paying jobs, and the benefits seem to be pretty good. I know, at least on my end, the benefits are great. So I definitely think it's a great profession to get into. And just from being here at Bloss and Dillard, I look around and, my coworkers, some of them have been here for 30 years. So it's not a career with a very high turnover rate, which I think is always, a good thing. It says a lot about the career. It says a lot about the employer, things like that. Especially for younger people, getting out of college, I definitely encourage them to look into it. There are different courses you might need to take, especially if you want to get licensed. But they're not too daunting. They're easy to do. And, a lot of times I think employers will help you prepare for that and cover the costs of getting those certifications and licenses. It is from visiting agents for the past 3 years and speaking with them over the phone, it is an aging field, and you meet a lot of agents that are getting ready for retirement and talk about that. So I think there is a big, need for younger talent in the insurance industry.
Yes, that's for sure. That's one reason that we decided to do some of these videos, is because there is such a need for young talent.
Yeah. And then you asked about Bloss and Dillard. One other thing I'd say, any insurance agents like you guys out there, we're here to help. We're not competition. I think our motto is, we're not competition. We're service to the local agent. So we write in every state that touches West Virginia. So West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland. And then we have a few outliers that we can do business in as well. North Carolina, a little bit in Tennessee, things like that. So we're definitely there to help out the agent. We're locally owned here in West Virginia. We give back to the community, and always happy to help.
And I can definitely attest to that. They are a great partner to have for an agency. So if you are looking for a connection, if you're an agent, shoot me a message. I'll get you Zach's contact information. You will be really happy with their service.
We really appreciate that. We're glad to hear it.
And again, Zach, thank you for sitting down with us today, telling us a little bit about Bloss and Dillard and your career path with them. We really appreciate you taking time to do that.
Yeah, happy to do it. Thanks so much for having me.
Great. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.